Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time to actually watch my video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the best ways that I think we can actually improve our communication skills. Now, I myself am pretty good at communicating with people, but I still have my flaws. Yeah. Now, everyone can improve. You need to realise that if you are somebody who can communicate, you need to realise that you actually can start to communicate better. There are loads of different avenues which you can explore to become a better communicator of people. I'm going to talk about some of the ways that I try to actually communicate better, and obviously which you really need to look upon as well. Now, for a lot of people, being a good communicator is off the bat being, in my opinion, is being confident. Yeah, it goes without saying that often you will see confident people, and they will be talking in a confident way, and you almost be listening, just standing there listening to them and thinking and looking at them and thinking, this guy, he knows what he's talking about, and he's coming across in a confident way. Yeah, and a knowledgeable way. And this is, I think, the first skill that we need to have when we're talking to someone. We need to know what we're talking about. We need to know about the subject which we are communicating about. Yeah, knowledge is king when it comes to talking to obviously people and trying to get over what you want to say. Yeah, quite often you'll listen to people and they'll go all around the houses and they won't actually be able to get their opinion or get what they want to say over to you because they're all gobbledygook. And this is what we need to try and overcome. So knowledge is king. If you've got to communicate about an opportunity, or it might be that you want to just communicate with a lady that you've gone out with, whatever it is, you need to understand that knowledge is everything. Yeah. Aside from knowledge, we also need to obviously find ways to be more confident. Yeah. Now, I think being more confident when you're talking about something comes more naturally, obviously, with the more knowledge you know about that specific subject. But I also think it's practice. You see, a lot of people, they're not good communicators because they've just failed to communicate on any sort of level. They've been very withdrawn. They've perhaps not gone out of the house much. They've held back, or it might be that they have gone out of the house and they are getting involved in communities and in conversations, but they're letting the other person lead the conversation. Now, we need to rise up, if you like, and have our say, and obviously start communicating what we have to say if we want to become better at communication. Yeah. But you need to understand also that for me, communication isn't just about me speaking or you speaking, it's about the other person as well. Especially if, like me, you're involved in sales. What the other person has got to say really is so much more important than what I've got to say. Even though at times, and even now, I still perhaps sometimes dominate a conversation, which is a flaw. It's not a good thing. It's just something that obviously me as a person I'm trying to work on. But being a good listener for me is a massive part of becoming better at the art of conversation, because not everyone wants to hear what you've got to say. People want to have their say as well. They want to be able to if you're talking about a subject, they want to have their say on that subject. Otherwise it's not communication. Yeah, you're misleading yourself if you think that by talking to someone and them not talking back, if you believe that they're actually in the same, if they're involved in conversation and communication, because they're not. They're just listening. But the trouble with someone, if you dominate a conversation and that person is just listening to you, the trouble is, if that person's not engaged in what you're saying, if that person's not adding or asking questions or participating in the conversation, in the communication, guess what? That person will often get bored, yeah, because you're not involving them in obviously the conversation. Yeah, so you need to obviously be confident. To be good at communication, you need to be confident. You need to know what you're talking about. You know, you need to have quite a good, obviously take on whatever it is you want to talk about. But also, you need to understand that you need to listen to what that person's saying. Because, like I say, if you're like me and you're in sales, the listening bit is the important bit, because you're finding out what it is they want, what it is they desire, why they've invited you round their home, what it is they want from you. Yeah, it's the same with partnerships. If you're going out with a lady and you're talking and you're dominating the conversation, and that person's not getting a word in, then she can't obviously tell you about how she's feeling, or tell you about what her problems might be. So she's subconsciously, subliminally thinking, well, perhaps he ain't the one for me. He's not a very good listener. Yeah, listening is in my eyes, it's 50%. It's 50-50. Being able to listen to and understand and understand what that person's trying to get over to you, and obviously what the person's concerns are in whatever situation you're in. That is the art of communication. Yeah, when you're talking to somebody and they're obviously talking back to you, and then you're showing them your sincerity, that you actually care about what they're talking about. And the way you do this is by, when they actually say something to you, you kind of say it back to them. If they said, like, for example, that they like dogs, you could perhaps turn around and say, oh guys, yeah, it's really good that you like dogs. I like dogs too. You're reconfirming, that you've actually listened to what they've spoke about. And people like this, whether it's a woman you're dating, whether you're a lady and you're dating a man, whatever the scenario, whether you're a businessman, people like to know that the person they're talking to is listening to what they're saying. This for me is the biggest way of communicating. You need to remember as well that if you're in a difficult situation, you perhaps think back to times in your life when you might have been in a difficult situation, and if you'd been a better communicator, you would have been able to spoke to that person, or got them talking about a different subject, to almost I don't want to think that manipulating is the art of conversation, but in some ways, imagine you're in a situation and you're in a difficult situation. If you know how to turn the conversation and to somehow manipulate that person into them thinking or believing that you are interested in what they're talking about. Yeah, it's the book, isn't it? It's the how to win friends and influence people. Yeah, being able to come down to a person's level, or to be able to rise up to their level. This is the art of conversation. Yeah. Um, a very quick funny story of me years ago, when I was about 23. I got involved in a situation which actually was not of my making. I'm not an aggressive person, really. I've got a bit of a temper at times, but I was in a situation where basically this guy started attacking me, and I basically had a go at him back. Yeah, and he come off a lot worse. He actually come off a lot worse. It was it's a long story, but what actually happened was, um, all of a sudden I turned around and there was police everywhere. It was like every single policeman in Essex had decided to join the party and had come to where I was. And you can imagine, all I wanted to do, I was actually on a sales course. I was on a sales course learning how to sell insurance. And obviously, if the trainers got to hear about this, I'd probably lost my job before I'd even started, but it actually wasn't my fault. But as a result of what happened, there was like 2 or 3 police who were actually, stood beside me. There was a car. There was it was honestly, it was like a police convention. There was loads of people there, and it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and this guy, we were going to be arrested. I was going to be getting arrested, yeah, because I actually inadvertently, in the struggle, knocked this policeman's helmet off. Yeah, his helmet come off, and I remember looking down and seeing it on the ground. And you can imagine the alarm bells just went off in my mind. But suffice to say, I used my communication skills that night to talk my way out of it. Yeah, I talked my way to freedom. Yeah, because what I done was I basically said, I blamed it on the other guy. Um, I blamed, even though I admit, I actually went for him first because he got right in my face and I knew he was gonna attack me, and he was a lot bigger than me. But I blamed it all on the other guy. I said he started it. All I want to do is go home, and I kept apologising. I said I'm really sorry. I know you guys have got better things to do than to be reacting to things like this. And I basically, I talked myself to freedom. And this is the art of communication. Yeah, knowing when to keep your mouth shut, knowing when to say sorry, knowing when to make the person feel good. You know what I mean? This is all about communication. Yeah, being sincere. If you if you're fearful of something, or someone says something to you which you don't like, to perhaps show that you don't like, how they've spoken to you, but do it in a way that is not going to be an argument. Yeah, it's all the art of conversation. No one can actually train you to be the best at communication. You have to train yourself. The idea of this video is to make you aware that if you are a shy person, if you are perhaps a person that does struggle to talk to people, this is only going to improve if you talk to more people. It's like a person who don't like spiders. Put them in a room full of spiders. Yeah, perhaps not that extreme, but he needs to make himself uncomfortable. You're not going to get through this unless you make yourself uncomfortable. Yeah, because how else are you going to improve? How else will you change? If you are this shy person, how else are you going to not move forward? Yeah, you need to submerge yourself in a difficult situation. Yeah, in saying that, if you are a shy person, that can be to your advantage sometimes, because if you're a shy person, you're probably someone who listens more. So whereas me, the talker, might talk too much and not be listening to what that person's got to say, you, the shy person, you'll be soaking up more information than me. Because it's got to be said, if I'm talking, I'm not learning. I had this conversation with my little boy years ago. We were sitting there and he kept interrupting me. I was sitting there doing mathematics with him. I think he was about 9 or 10. And I said, Chaz, I said, one thing you need to understand. He went, what, Dad? I said, when you're talking, I said, Daddy obviously wants to know what you've got to say. Obviously he's my son and I love him dearly. I said, but when we're doing mathematics, or when Daddy's helping you with your spellings, when Daddy's talking and you're listening, you're learning. And he understood that. So, this is what we need to obviously understand as well. That when someone is talking to us, we need to be soaking up information from them. Yeah? Don't think, the brunch of this video is, don't think that you're a great communicator if you're like me and you can talk a lot. If you can, like me, I can go into a pub, I could walk into a room with 1,000 people and I could find someone to talk to. Yeah? Whether or not that person wants to keep talking to me after a couple of minutes, I don't know. That's the art of communication. Yeah, that's the confidence in me being able to go up to people and start conversation. But again, to be a good communicator, I need to be listening to what that person's saying and reconfirming some of the things they're talking about by asking questions to that person, because then I'm engaging them and he's engaging me, so we're having a conversation. This is the art. Yeah, so start, to obviously, just summing up this video, to improve your communication, make sure you're more knowledgeable about what it is you have to, what it is you're talking about. Expose yourself more to communication. The more you're talking to people, the more confident you will become, whatever it is you're talking about. Yeah, but also remember to listen. Yeah, listening and reconfirming by asking the person questions. That again is showing that you are engaged in the art of communication, conversation. It ain't just you talking or dictating, however you want to spell it out. Yeah, and obviously the other thing which I haven't mentioned, which I might do another video on, is your body language, is your posture. When you're talking to a person, when you're talking to that person, make sure you're looking, that you're looking at them. Yeah, if you're talking to a lady, you want to be looking in her eyes. Don't be looking, don't be looking over her shoulder. You need to be, paying, focusing your attention on that person. If that person knows that you're focusing your 100% attention on them, then obviously that person's going to have more time for what it is you've got to say. Funny, just very quickly, a very short story. My wife come in the other day. She come in from. I actually met her and she was right annoyed. And I said, "What's the matter, like? Who's rattled your cage?" And what it was, she'd gone into a well-known sports shop to do a return, and the guy in the shop, as he was talking to her, he was looking around, and she said he was on his radio. And she said it was really bugging her. And in the end, she had an argument with a bloke. She said to him, "Can you stop talking on that radio? I'm talking here." This is what she said to him. But can you see how this is proof that if you haven't got a person's full attention, if that person, if you're talking to someone and that person's looking over your shoulder, or they're on the phone, or whatever it is, that for me is a bugaboo. I don't like that. I want to be, if I'm talking to someone, I want them to be talking back to me. Sometimes I have it with my daughter. I don't know if you've got a daughter, but my daughter's terrible for this. I'll start talking to her, and then it's like she's just not listening. And I say to her, "You've just asked me a question and I've given you the answer. Can you at least answer me?" "Oh yeah, sorry, Dad." You know what I mean? But this is what winds people up. So make sure when you're talking to someone and someone is wanting your attention, that you are focusing your attention on that person. And you do this by looking at them, by obviously, by being with it. Yeah. I hope this video's helped. I hope this really helped you to, grab a little bit about how you can obviously improve. It's something that can be learned. You probably don't believe it, but when I was 11, 12 years old, I was quite a shy person. I was very shy. I remember when I was at school, I couldn't talk to girls. I was murder. I really was. But you fast forward it. I'm 51 years of age now. I can talk to anyone, and that's only happened because I have put a lot of time and effort into personal development. But also, I think because I'm involved in sales, and that's talking's just been has become part of my life. It's second nature. But this is how it becomes second nature to you, by doing it more. I hope this has helped. I really do. It's a long video. I apologise for that, but my videos do go on a bit sometimes. My channel is aimed at helping people. It's aimed at helping people with their own personal development. It's aimed at helping you move on in life. It's aimed at helping you earn more money. It's aimed at helping your business. And I've also, if you like, my negative side, because I've got a negative side, believe it or not, is my OCD. I've done videos on my OCD. I suffer terribly with mental illness, OCD. I've had it. I've had it severe. I'm going through a bit of a bad patch at the minute, but I try and be positive. I try and be positive, and I think this is the secret to doing better in life. We've got to try and move forward. Yeah, I really appreciate it. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. Yeah, if you can, if you did find this video of help, please subscribe. I'm really trying to get more subscribers, and leave a comment. I always respond to positive and negative comments as long as they're constructive. If they're just horrible comments, I don't. But if they're positive and constructive, whether they're or even negative, I'll always respond. Thank you so much, and once again, please, please, please subscribe. Thank you.